What is going on, guys? It has been one hell of a week, has it not? We've got Republicans in Congress fighting amongst themselves, trying to figure out if they want to pass their big despicable bill. And then, of course, on Thursday, all hell broke loose when Donald Trump and Elon Musk started fighting amongst themselves, and it has been glorious. And I think we should be here every step of the way to egg this on, because when Republicans are fighting amongst themselves, it is better for America. Now, of course, because we are at the end of another week, it is time for another weekly roundup. Donald Trump has been in office now for 19 weeks, which means he's got 189 left to go. And of course, if you're counting down the days, it is 1,324 days until hopefully, just hopefully, we won't have to deal with Donald Trump anymore. Now, of course, the weekly roundup is kind of a compilation of a whole bunch of different clips that we gather throughout the week. They don't necessarily touch on any particular topic, but it kind of gives us a way to catch up on anything we may have missed. And of course, if we're lucky, we get to have a laugh or two. So let's go ahead and start off with this clip of Peter Navarro kind of just snapping at a reporter. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
They think about Congress, and that's a low bar to hit.
How much of that is because every time you get a court decision you don't like, you and your colleagues come out here and rail against rogue judges?
Who is this guy? Tell me who you are, sir.
I'm Andrew Feinberg. I work for The Independent.
Okay, so that is such a biased question. That is not a journalist question. That was like an op-ed, sir. So I don't even respond to that. Who else?
When did all of these MAGA lunatics turn into such snowflakes? And the real reason I showed this clip is because I am just so sick of everybody in the MAGA movement thinking that they can treat the press like shit. The question was pretty straightforward and simple. Why is it every time a court rules against the Trump administration, you guys come out and cry like a bunch of babies saying that, oh, it's just a whole bunch of activist judges trying to shut Trump down? Why don't you contend with the substance of the ruling? Donald Trump is violating law after law after law. He tried to pretty much overturn part of the Constitution with an executive order. And you want to come out and say that, oh, it's just a whole bunch of judges that are trying to get in Donald Trump's way? No. Donald Trump is the most lawless president that this country has ever seen. Thus, he is going to get shot down in the courts more often. Let's go ahead and move on to this clip, where Donald Trump is now playing videos on a laptop during an Oval Office press briefing thing.
People who I've respected over the years, from Joe Kiernan and Rick Santelli. This just came out, and we'll just play that for a second.
Personal income is up 0.8%. That is almost triple the expectations. I'll tell you, the income.
I mean, what are we doing here, folks? The President of the United States is now curating news stories and then loading them onto a laptop. And then while the media is there in the room with him, when he's supposed to be speaking to the media, he puts the laptop on display so the media can record the media. What are we doing? Is this what we have been reduced to? Is this what the president has been reduced to? Finding little cherry-picked pieces of information that may make Donald Trump look a little bit better, and now we're going to play that on a laptop when he's supposed to be talking to the media. It's also pathetic. Donald Trump is a weak and petulant child, and I don't know, 3.5 years to go, guys. We can do it. Let's go ahead and move on to this clip. Here's Stephen Miller, yet again, just absolutely losing his shit on CNN.
The Democrat Party has been waging war against democracy. They should be renamed the Communist Party, and district court judges that are trying to keep millions of illegal aliens here to steal our jobs, to steal our livelihood, to steal our benefits. There's nothing more on track than talking about the fact that the constitutional crisis of our time are district court judges keeping illegal aliens on our soil who have no right to be here.
Stephen, this is my show. I want to hear what you have to say. I've been respectful and given you the opportunity, but
Again, Stephen Miller, biggest snowflake in all of the world. Why is it that when he comes on mainstream media, CNN, maybe, I don't even know if he goes on MSNBC, but maybe NBC, ABC, why is it that these are the types of appearance that he does? He is blowing up like a child because, again, Donald Trump is getting shot down in the courts because he is the most lawless president that we have ever seen. He wants to say that the Democrats are the communists? Why is it Donald Trump who is getting golden shares in Nippon Steel so he can control a private entity while he works from the government? That seems a bit more communistic to me. But who am I, right? Donald Trump is doing all these different things. He's trying to control a whole bunch of different things in different industries. He's trying to control Harvard. He's trying to meddle in other universities. Donald Trump is the true communists in the way that these Republicans or conservatives envision it. Donald Trump is doing exactly what you have accused Democrats of doing, and they have never come close to the line that Donald Trump has crossed well over. It is absolutely insane to me. Let's go ahead and move on to this clip of Roger Marshall. He's saying that the budget bill, well, it's going to cause a whole bunch of growth. And how do you think we're going to get there?
What would trigger that kind of growth, in your view, in the second half?
Well, I think number one is just an attitude. Already back home, I'm seeing manufacturing jobs grow and grow and grow that we can't keep up with the orders, and I think that's probably because of President Trump's tariffs. I think the deregulation will add a 0.5%, maybe a 1% growth. I think those are the first steps, but it's just this general attitude that we're the start of a new economy.
So we're going to pray really, really hard, guys. We're going to wish upon a star. We're going to indoctrinate this new attitude, and that is what's going to cause growth in our economy. It's a whole new attitude, baby. It's the growth mindset. We're going to be on our grind set, on our hustle. That's what's going to make our economy grow. Are these people serious? You know, this is the same lie that they pushed about the first Tax and Jobs Cut Act that Trump passed, the first big tax breaks that Trump did. In that bill, they kept on claiming that it's going to add all of this growth to the economy, and it never came to fruition. They're trying to peddle the same lie for this bill, except now we're going to be kicking millions of people off of their health insurance just so we can give these giant tax breaks to the wealthiest individuals in our country. And he wants you to think that this is going to generate such a new attitude that all of this growth we see in the economy is going to well make up for all of those people getting cut off their Medicaid. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. Here's Tammy Bruce. Just, going full North Korea.
Well, you did see the President Trump tweet, didn't you?
Yes, but I didn't think that would completely negate the reporting.
I appreciate that. I think that's the biggest guffaw I've had here. The thing that matters when it comes to American policy and what's happening is what President Trump thinks and says. This is the Trump administration.
So creepy. The only thing that matters is what Trump thinks and says. This is the Trump administration. He is our daddy. I mean, again, what are we doing here, guys? Why is it that everybody in the Trump administration sounds like this? Why is it that every time they get in front of the camera, they always have to praise Donald Trump? Why is it that that is going on in my country? The last I checked, we are supposed to be a representative democracy. We're not supposed to be worshiping a king. We're not supposed to be worshiping a monarch. We're not supposed to be worshiping a cult leader. But that is what MAGA has devolved into. And now Donald Trump has staffed up his administration with all of these sycophants, and every time they make a media appearance, this is the kind of thing that we get. It is truly, truly a sight to behold. I mean, this is the level of praise that you might see North Korean news anchors doing. I mean, it is comparable, and it is gross that it is happening in the United States of America. Let's go to move on to this clip, where Mark Pocan is trying to get to the bottom of who runs Doge now that Elon's left.
Who's in charge of Doge? If the guy who is taking over after Elon Musk, who just left, and he's leaving, it sounds like this is a bit of a circus. Who's in charge of Doge?
The cabinet agencies that are in charge of the Doge consultants that work for them are fundamentally in control of Doge.
Oh, that's an answer only a mother could love. All right.
What does that even mean? The heads of the agencies, of the departments of the Doge are the people who are running Doge? I mean, seriously, what did he just say there? Let's go to rewatch that one because I just don't understand it.
So who's in charge of Doge? If the guy who is taking over after Elon Musk, who just left, and he's leaving. It sounds like this is a bit of a circus. Who's in charge of DOGE?
The cabinet agencies that are in charge of the DOGE consultants that
The cabinet agencies who are in charge of the DOGE consultants
work for them are fundamentally in control of DOGE.
who work for them are fundamentally in control of DOGE. What a non-answer. And that was probably the perfect response from Pocan there. Good, what did he say? That's an answer, holy mother of good love or whatever. Yeah, that's exactly right, because that was a non-answer. Elon Musk has left. He is now fighting with Donald Trump, calling for the impeachment of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is threatening to remove all of his federal contracts. The guy who came in behind Musk, well, it turns out he's now leaving as well. So who is in charge of the DOGE department? Why are these people so incompetent? This should be a relatively simple question to answer. Somebody like Russell Vogt, who is the director of OMB, should have the answer to this very, very simple question. But that's how he answers? Again, this is just more of the same incompetence that we can expect out of this Trump administration for the next 3.5 years or so. And because they really don't feel like they need to be accountable to anybody, they go in front of Congress for their budget hearing, and they spit out answers like this that mean absolutely nothing, and they think that, doesn't really matter. I don't need to show any respect to this body. I don't need to show any respect to the Congress. These people can't hold me accountable because Donald Trump is in office. That is the mindset that we are getting here, and it's an absolute shame. Let's go ahead and move on to Marco Rubio. He says, don't worry, guys. I wouldn't be able to get 99 confirmation votes now.
The president, for some period of time, expressed great concern about the fact that I had 99 votes in the Senate. He didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. But I told him recently, sir, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't think I'd get 99 votes now.
Well, he definitely would not get 99 votes now, but I think it's so gross that he is wearing this as a badge of honor. Like he has done so much reputational damage to himself. He has, become completely subservient to Donald Trump, does everything that Donald Trump says, carrying out attacks against Harvard, carrying out attacks against different students, and he's wearing it as a badge of honor. Don't worry, Daddy Trump. They wouldn't elect me in now, so you got nothing to worry about. I'm as bad as they say I am. You got nothing to worry about. I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting. Marco Rubio used to be somewhat normal. Of course, he was a conservative. I may have not agreed with him on a whole bunch of different policy things, but he used to be a somewhat principled conservative. And now he is kind of just rolling over for the wannabe dictator and doing whatever Donald Trump tells him to do. And he's carrying out all of these attacks, like I just said, in like the most heinous way possible. And he's doing it with a smile. Like he's so proud of himself to wield this much power under the Trump administration. It's just so gross. I mean, what else can you say to this? You have stripped all of your character away that you once had so you could serve Donald Trump. And you think that's a cool thing. Ugh. It's just gross. Let's go ahead and move on to this one last clip. Democrats, they're a bit lost right now. But they are trying to fight back against this budget bill. And here's a video that they cut together for that.
The American people don't know what's happening because Republicans don't want them to see it.
I think everybody's pretty clear. You don't schedule a meeting for 1 o'clock in the morning unless you're trying to hide something. There is so much hidden in this bill that the American people need to know about.
This MAGA disaster bill is a theft bill. They are stealing from you.
They are so ashamed of what is in that bill that they couldn't even read it aloud.
But what they're really going to do is knock 14 million people off of health care.
About $313 billion in SNAP cuts.
Literally, they are stealing food out of the mouths of hungry kids to pay for a tax cut for the billionaires.
It is all to give tax breaks to people like Elon Musk and massive corporations that absolutely don't need it.
House Democrats are pushing back aggressively.
This is a fight over values. This is a fight over morals. This is a fight over what is right and what is wrong.
It is as important as it has ever been in our lifetimes to keep up the fight.
And we will fight tooth and nail to keep working men and women protected.
We as Democrats can vote no, but it's really the American people who can block and stop this horrific bill by making phone calls and marching and sending letters and making it clear that you can either vote with the American people or you can vote with Trump and his billionaire buddies.
Look, this may not be the most compelling video you ever did see, but I do believe this is the right messaging that we should adopt against this budget bill. This budget bill, it's absolutely atrocious, right? They are cutting between 8 and I've seen all the way up to nearly 15 million people off of their health insurance. Another thing that this bill does is if you get, for some subgroup of people, if you get kicked off of Medicaid, you are banned from going and purchasing your own off of the Affordable Care Act website. I mean, just think about how insane that is. They're going to kick some people off and then bar them from purchasing their own. This bill is disgusting. So not only are they going to be kicking millions upon millions of people off of their Medicaid, like they said here, they're kicking millions of people off of their nutrition assistance. Also, we can give these giant tax breaks to the wealthiest individuals in our country. People, if this message doesn't resonate with people, then I don't know what will. Republicans have been coming out and lying about this bill. They say nobody's going to get cut off their Medicaid. Now they've kind of switched their attack to, oh, it's just a whole bunch of able-bodied young males. They're just leeching off the system. They're defrauding the American government. It's only those people who are going to get kicked off their Medicaid. All of that is a bunch of horseshit. Now, do I wish this video itself got a bit more traction? Sure, I do. Do I like that the Democrats are at least trying to put out some sort of message, some sort of coherent message to the American people? Yes, I do. That is why I played this video, because they're trying something. Now, I personally think that Democrats, they need to write their own bill. Okay, they should write their own bill so they can compare and contrast it against the Republican bill, and you can show the American people this is what we would be doing instead. I think that is a better strategy. It would give the American people something to look at. You can compare and contrast. You can see how the Democrats would be taking care of more individuals instead of kicking people off of their Medicaid, and it would show at least some amount of leadership. We are not seeing that in the Democratic Party right now. We've got a few fighters here and there that are coming out and saying the right things, but we're lacking leadership. We're lacking strategy right now in the Democratic Party. So I meant to show this video, to kind of give a little bit of credit for Democrats putting this video together, combating this budget bill. It kind of turned into a critique against the Democrats, but I think both can be true at the same time. I think they need to continue doing videos like this. This is the exact right message to adopt here. We're kicking the poorest people off of their health insurance and their food assistance to give benefit to the wealthiest individuals. The wealthiest individuals. And there's a whole bunch of other crazy provisions in this bill as well, like trying to strip more power away from the judiciary. Absolutely insane. So I think they need to continue to do things like this. I saw Senator Warren popping up on my Instagram feed with other influencers that I follow. I think doing things like that is really good as well. They need to get out there and they need to start combating this authoritarian regime. They need to do a better job. So I really like that they put this video together. I think the call to action Twitter handle is who filmed this. He says it's the Daily Mic Drop, I believe is what he calls it. And I like it. We need to do more of this. We need to continue to message against this budget bill. And for goodness sakes, let's show some leadership. Let's give America an alternative vision than this authoritarian hellscape that Trump is envisioning for this country. That is what we should be doing right now. So those are the clips that I had for you guys this week. I know it's been a pretty wild week. It's been a pretty entertaining week. I love that Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they're at each other's throats. They're fighting like a couple of petulant children. And it has just been fascinating. It's been glorious to watch. And like I said before, we should continue to egg this on. Because when Republicans are fighting amongst themselves, it is better for America. So I hope everybody has a good weekend. Hope you enjoyed yet another weekly roundup. And I will see you guys next week. So if you guys got anything out of this video, please remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just launders all of this authoritarian nonsense for the Republican Party day in and day out. So if you do like what I do here, please remember to smash that subscribe button. Of course, that is free. And if you guys want to see how Donald Trump went from very subtle jabs at Elon Musk to very escalated attacks towards Elon Musk in his Oval Office meeting, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.